My name is Megan Milligan, and my final project Shark Tank presentation is campaigning for a new place for the food pantry. So PSU has a food pantry? It does. It's run by the Student Support Foundation, which is a student-run organization. It offers students with free services such as grants, food, toiletries, and even school supplies. It's currently located in a storage closet in the back of Belknap Hall and is only open for limited hours during the week. So since when? The Student Support Foundation was created in 2005, so it's been up and running for a decent amount of time. It just hasn't gotten the publicity it deserves or that it needs. The goal of the Student Support Foundation, in short, is to offer student support. It's right there in the name. They want to give students short-term and long-term support. So whether that's a grant to help them get through the month or monthly groceries, they're always looking to inspire philanthropy across PSU. So what does the pantry offer? This has kind of been mentioned before, but the pantry is open to all students. There's no qualifications needed to be able to use the pantry. You just have to come in, open up the My Plymouth page to show you're an active student, and answer a few questions. But other than that, there's no requirements to use it. And students are allowed to come in once a month to restock on their groceries. So the pantry gives out food such as canned fruit, veggies, even sometimes fresh products like eggs, although those are a lot less common as they're perishable. But it also offers toiletries such as laundry detergent, shampoo, even things like toothpaste, which a lot of people don't think about as often. Um, and they also give out school supplies, so pens, pencils, notebooks, which are necessities for students but can add up to a pretty high price. So with all of these items offered, is the pantry popular? Not really. Around 5 or less students come in on a weekly basis, and it begs the question why. So there is a lack of publicity. A lot of students just simply are unaware that there is a pantry or that this organization exists at all. Or even if they've seen the name, seen the sticker or logo, they might not know what it means. Additionally, there's just an overall lack of knowledge of the resources available to students on campus. But I think the main reason why the pantry is not popular is because of the location. So the pantry used to be located in a small white building right next to Geneva Smith Hall, and it was a lot busier in that location. I volunteered there fall 2016, and I had probably at least 3 to 4 people just in an hour slot every week. The pantry is now located, as I mentioned, in the back of Belknap Hall, and it has very specific limited hours throughout the week because volunteers needed to get key access, as Belknap Hall is a residential hall. It is in a closet in Belknap, and it's just overall harder to find. The entrance is facing the back of Belknap, and there are signs for the pantry, but they can only be put out when volunteers are physically there. And there is a Student Support Foundation sign on Belknap, but a lot of people wouldn't realize that that indicates there's a food pantry. So as I mentioned, it used to be located in a white building next to Geneva Smith Hall, so that's the first picture on the top. You can't actually see the building, but it's right on the edge of that photo. And overall, students could pretty much access it whenever needed. Volunteers just needed to check a key out from the hub, but if they knew a student needed the pantry, they could get access very easily. The second image is of Belknap Hall, and the arrow's pointing to the door that leads you into this rec room. And inside the rec room, there's a closet, and that is where the pantry is located. So it's definitely, it takes a lot more steps to physically even get there, and it's a lot more confusing. So where is this all leading? Basically, the pantry needs its own building. Where it's located now is just inconvenient and inaccessible for a lot of students, so the pantry isn't serving the purpose of supporting the students. It needs its own location, and it doesn't need to be a lot larger. Even a small retail garage could be used, a very small building, and in terms of utilities, it would only need electricity for 1 or 2 lights and a refrigerator that the Student Support Foundation already has. as well as heat for the winter, but with such a small space, that would not be expensive. So speaking of expenses, how much would this all cost? Um, as I mentioned, a small garage type building could be used, and including building from some companies, this price range for a small garage can range from $10,000 to $50,000. The pantry needs a building size of a typical shed, or maybe slightly larger. Um, so anywhere from 10 to 20 feet by 20 feet, or even smaller than that, could work. As I mentioned, anything would be an upgrade from a closet at this point. And electricity for just those 2 lights, or 1 light even, and the refrigerator as well as heating are the only utilities that would need to be paid for. Here are just some examples of different retail style garages or nicer looking sheds that I've found. And this is just to show that it doesn't need to be fancy, it doesn't need to look great, but it could look nice still, even if it's this type of building. Clearly we wouldn't want the big garage door, but anything like these buildings would fit perfectly for the pantry. So where will we put this, though? An ideal location would be between Rounds Hall and the Silver Center, so where that arrow is pointing to on that picture. There's a nice big patch of grass, and there's already pathways leading up to that area. It's kind of already set up to put something there. It's a very popular location. Lots of students walk across the hub lawn, and lots of gen eds are in Rounds Hall, which means that people would have to pass the pantry, all students would have to pass the pantry to get to Rounds, and would see it. So it would be raising awareness even immediately from freshman year. Additionally, it would be good PR for Plymouth State. Walking through tours, a lot of people go right past that exact spot, and incoming students or prospective students would see that the university supports its students with this new location, with this pantry. Overall, there are so many benefits to this. More space, there's more food, more awareness, more students would be able to use the pantry. If more students know about it, then we'd get more volunteers, we'd get more donations, and Plymouth State would overall look really good because they're offering this support for their students. In conclusion, the need outweighs the cost, and Plymouth State can only be bettered by this pantry. Students would feel supported by the pantry, and philanthropic culture would definitely be inspired through more awareness of this pantry and of the resources for students. You